Hello everyone, Terrence Matthews of RH1 Media, Sound, Lighting, and Video. I am so pleased to announce that we will be joining the YouTube community, bringing great videos to you, hopefully on a bi-weekly basis. And I was sitting here and I was pondering, and I was just thinking about what would be a great video or a great series of videos to start out to bring to you to encourage you, to uplift you, and also to share a story of overcoming of some sort. And it hit me. I have a lot of great friends that I grew up, some that I grew up with, some that I just met, via a few years ago, and they are doing extraordinary things, on a local level. I guess I could say on a local level, or just in life in general. A lot of times, the world only sheds a light on people that have status, whether it's economical status, whether it's social media status, business status, or business savvy. Those are the people that the world seek out to shed light and to bring their story to you. And it hit me. Why not do the same thing, but with regular, and I hate saying ordinary people, because they are doing extraordinary things, but just people that we are able to relate to on a day-to-day basis. And I'm so pleased to announce this show that I will be bringing to you on a local level or on a bi-weekly level will be called The Journey. And what the journey is all about shedding light on regular, ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things. It may be a story of overcoming. It may be a story of encouragement. It may be a story of one finding themselves. And a lot of times, during life, we all come to some type of crossroads where we have to pick and decide whether we will succumb to our situation or whether we will overcome our situation. And those are going to be the stories that I'm going to bring to you on the videos that I'm going to bring to you starting out um, on this, starting out on YouTube, hopefully on a bi-weekly basis. And the first gentleman that I'm going to bring to you, his name is Dominic Passmore. I've been knowing him probably for the past 7 years. I've been watching his journey. He is a extraordinary young man. He is a husband. He is a praise and worship leader at his local church. Um, he has been struggling with his weight for a couple of years now, and as we all do, we will start out on something, and then we will push that to the back burner to kind of focus in on something else. That's pretty much been his journey with weight for, I would say, probably for the past decade. But recently, he just came to a point where he just decided that enough is enough, and he's taking control of his situation. And actually, in the background, if you look, that's the video that I'm working on currently right now. I'm so pleased to bring to you this great series of videos that's gonna be coming to you, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're able to have some inspiration, encouragement. Hopefully, it will uplift you, and hopefully, you will be able to follow these people, my friends, um, along their journey. So, hopefully, like, subscribe, share this video as I get ready to bring to you Dominic Passmore of Weight Consume Me, weightconsumeme.com. You can reach him on Facebook at Weight Consume Me. Um, like I said, good overall, great young man, Dominic Passmore. Stay tuned. Dominic Passmore, whether you are a husband, you are a father, you're a worship, praise and worship leader at your local church, truck driver, downright good brother. I've been knowing you for a couple of years now, and I've been watching you grow. I'm so excited to have you on the journey, telling your story. I recently read a Facebook post of yours on your Weight Consume Me Facebook page, and something stuck out to me that you said. You said, I wasn't always fat, overweight, and unhealthy. I was a normal baby, child, and teen. And that struck me. It's very interesting to me. So, could you please tell our audience what happened a little bit, and how did you get on the Weight Consume Me journey that you're on right now?
Wow, that's a real good question. What happened? Like I said in the post, I wasn't always a overweight child, or I was fat. I wasn't fat or unhealthy. I was a normal kid. I played. I was active. I ran around. I remember even when I was younger playing football, I used to play with older kids, and they used to call, well, my nickname is Danny, so they used to call me Hurricane Danny because I used to be the running back and run it through and everything. So I was smooth with it, and growing up, I came from a single parent household, and I had a younger brother. So it was just me, my brother, and my mom. And, we both had different dads, and, dads wasn't really in the picture. So I believe that at some point that played a factor in my life, and as far as when it came to my weight, because, being active, all children eat, and when you're active, you don't really keep no weight. But as I got older, the weight started to add on, and I've always felt just through my own eye gates that I was larger. I was bigger than other kids. And so I think somewhere in my psyche, I felt like I wasn't skinny, or I wasn't, I'm not saying we was poor, but, we was challenged, I guess. We was money challenged. So I didn't necessarily have the best clothes or the best things. So I always felt a little reserved and felt like, I wasn't good enough because I didn't have the latest shoes or the latest clothes, and we didn't have the latest toys. So there was always a part of me that felt ashamed and felt neglected. So and even abandoned. Because I had a relationship, I would say, with my father. He called and checked in on me, but he wasn't always around. So I believe all of those different things kind of added together. And, at some point, I started to eat. And, throughout my grade school, middle school, high school is when I really started to kind of put on the weight. But I didn't really think nothing of it because I played football. So I'm like, oh, I'm just one of the linemen. Hey, you got your running backs, your wide receivers, you got your linemen. I was a lineman. But when I think back on it, I just love to eat. My grandfather was a large guy. My mom was overweight. Some of my aunties were. So it wasn't a big deal. I didn't look at it as, oh, okay, I just felt like, hey, this is just what my family, this is what we do. We eat. But as I got older and became grown, the weight just continued. It just continued to grow, and before I knew it, I was over 500 pounds, and I was just like, wow. And as far as the weight consuming part, it didn't really kind of transform into about 2011, because in 2010, my cousin passed away. We were real close, like brothers, and I felt like there had to be more out of life because he was in his 30s, and we was just really trying to understand what life was all about. And for him to pass, I was like, wow. I said, it got to be more. So I'm a Houston native, and I told my mom, I said, I gotta go. I'm finna move to Dallas. And she was like, what? What you mean? And I said, I gotta get away. I said, it has to be more. And I ended up moving to Dallas in 2011, and went to Potter's House Church, and up under the leadership of Bishop T.D. Jakes. And there was a class that they had. They had classes like, if you want to be an entrepreneur as far as writing books and stuff. And I wanted to write a book, and which I've never written a book. I don't even like reading. That's the crazy thing about that. But I went to this class, and I wanted to write a book, and that's where weight consuming began, because I knew that weight and me carrying weight had been such a big part of my life. You know, I felt like it has always been with me. So I said, man, I want to write a book about weight, you know, weight consuming me, taking over my life. And so it began there. And, you know, now, of course, I still haven't finished the book, which that's on the way. But, you know, that's definitely where the journey began in 20.
You said also in that post, you said that, but once my inside couldn't contain the stress and the rejection and loneliness, it began to show on the outside. This baby and teen couldn't handle not having a father, which you talked about, and having a mother working all the time, leaving me responsible to look after my brother. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, when you're living life and you're in the middle of it, you don't realize what's really happening to you mentally. You don't really understand what's going on to you and the type of things that you're dealing with because you're in the midst of it. It's kind of like adrenaline takes over. You know how have you ever seen those situations where you know, somebody is stranded in the water, whatever, the person jump in and save their life. They're not thinking about, oh, well, I'm not going to jump in and save them because it could harm me. Adrenaline takes over. And, you know, you hear stories of, you know, people got stronger. They was able to pick up a car or whatever the case may be. And so I believe that my adrenaline was just flowing throughout my life. And, you know, because when I sat back and looked, I was like, man, you know, there was a lot that I had to contend with. You know, my mom, like I said, she was a single parent, you know, it was just her. And she had two boys that she was trying to raise. And so she had to work from sun up to sundown. Like literally, she got us on the bus, well, at least got me on the bus because my brother's like 5 years younger than me and he wasn't in school at the time. So she got me on the bus and she was gone. She was at work. She didn't get home till like 10 o'clock at night. So from whatever time I got out of school, you know, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night, you know, no parent around. It was just me and my little brother. I had to go to the daycare, pick him up, you know, and I'm talking about, it's not no round the corner pick him up. I'm talking about miles. I had to go. I had to, you know, either walk or take my bike. So all of that was straight. I had to cook. And I'm like, because when he was a baby, when he was, you know, maybe 1 or 2, 3, he stayed at my grandparents throughout the week. So, you know, I didn't really have to deal with that. But as I got older and got into middle school, that responsibility was really laid on my shoulders. I had to cook for us. I had to do everything because, you know, she had to work. And so it was stressful to the point of like, man, you know, I got to make sure I do this. I got to do that, you know, and that's a lot. That's a lot for a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old to have that type of responsibility. So I know all of that just really played a part in my development because, you know, being a child, I was a child. So when you're a child, whatever you're faced with, it develops you into the teen, to the man that you become or the girl that you become. So when you got all these different things that are coming at you and that you have to carry all that weight that I talk about, you start carrying all these different things. And, you know, it gets to a point to where you need an outlet. You look for something to like offset. You look for something to offset, you know, what you're dealing with. And I believe food was like just one of those things because my family loved to eat anyways. And we ate anyways. And then, you know, even thinking about, now that I think about it, because it was just my mom and she was, you know, we ate what we could eat. When I had the opportunity to eat, I made sure I ate because, you know, meals wasn't, you know, we didn't have the luxury of just being able to just go in the pantry and get this, get that. You know, it was calculated what we could eat. My mom, you know, we went to my grandparents' house on the weekend. We came home on Sunday night. She went and bought a 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters. And that was to last throughout the week. So when you have to ration out food like that, it's like, man, it's rough. So when I had the opportunity, when I went to my grandparents' house, I ate because Mama there, she cooked. She made sure she was gonna fix some food and we was gonna eat. Might not have liked everything she cooked, live or not, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so, it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, I got to make sure I eat. I got to make sure. And because of that upbringing, because of not always having, as I got older, I started trying to hold on to things because I didn't know if I would ever get it again. So it really impacted my life in such a way that, the wheels, it just kept going. And before I knew it, I was this guy that was, looking in the mirror like, man, when did I get here? At what point? How did I get here? So, yeah.
How has it been living inside of your body? Do people look at you strangely? Do people, kind of look at you and they turn the other way? How has it been living inside of your body?
Now that's been rough. Because the reality of it is when I look in the mirror, I don't see this grotesque, overweight person or whatever that the world sees.
Right, and we talked about that.
Right.
You had said that you looked up the word obese.
Obese, yeah, correct, yeah. I looked up the word obese because I just wanted to, and I'm sure I've looked it up before, or even or like obesity, what obesity is. But I looked up the word obese, and the first two words made me really just like, wow. And it said, grossly fat. And I said, grossly fat. Interesting. And I said, so that's how you look at me? And because, it's a definition. So that means, at some point in history, someone put a word together and they, and when they put that word together, they said, well, now that we have a word for what this is, let's describe it. And what they came up with was grossly fat. And when I think about gross, I think about something that's like, nasty, da, da, da. So I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me because I'm obese, I'm grossly fat? That means, I'm appalling to look at. So, and that was just what I looked at recently. But for my life, how I've looked at myself, I've never seen myself as grossly fat, or I've never seen myself as obese. Yeah, I knew I was overweight. I knew, that I didn't like what I saw in the mirror, but I never saw myself because when I looked in the mirror, I saw a totally different person, and I knew, and I guess that's the biggest thing for me. One reason why I've never really given up on losing weight. One reason why I haven't just given up on life, because a lot of people in this position, they give up, and it's sad to see. My heart goes out to them, but I've never seen myself as this guy this is not who I am. And God has always shown me, I am a believer of Christ. So he has always shown me that I'm more than just what my appearance look like. So it's been rough. It's rough to live in this body. It's rough because you do get the stares, you get the kids, and kids. I was watching this show earlier, in the show called Kids Say the Darndest Things. Oh, they say whatever's on their mind, and they'll give it to you raw, and they don't show no mercy. And it's like, oh well, it's just a kid, but it don't matter. Words hurt. Back in the day, it's like sticks and stones break my bones, but words never. No, that's a lie. Words hurt. And so, but yeah, you get the stares, you get the this and that, but the stares and all that, okay, I get. But it's just the everything else. I can't go to certain places because of the seating, like sporting events. Like the Astros, man, they playing right now, World Series. I can't go to the game unless I want to stand for 3, 4, 5 hours because those seats don't accommodate me. I can't go to the theater because those seats don't accommodate me. The movies have gotten better because now they got, the armrests come up, relax, so I can go to movies. I'm grateful. I can go see a flick. But the world is not set up for people my size. It's just not. And so it's rough because of that, because it hinders my life. I can't, and I kind of see why people give up because they can't enjoy life because the world says that you don't fit in what we do. So even on airplanes, if you are over a certain amount, you got to get an extra ticket, and when it come to clothes, you got to pay more money. So it's not only do I have to deal with the fact that I'm overweight and I'm this large person, but now I got to pay more for clothes. I got to, buy extra seats. I can't go certain places. I can't stand, at certain long periods of time. So it's rough. People don't really understand what it takes to really, go throughout a day and just deal in and out, just the stresses of trying to not only deal with the world, but just carrying the weight. Carrying the weight is a feat within itself.
And we're back with Dominic Passmore. Weight consume me. Weight consume me. We've talked about a lot of things. We talked about your struggle. We talked about some of the things that you've been through. We actually even talked about the consuming part of it, the consuming part of your journey. So now on to your transformation, what you've been doing lately. We talked about even how you came up to this point.
Yeah.
But the journey that you're on right now, to actually do something about it, the transformation that you're on right now, because I got to tell you, looking at you, knowing you for the past couple of years, you look different, bro. I mean, you look more confident, you look more determined. I mean, it's just an aura that you have about yourself, and a confidence and a boldness that you have about yourself right now. So expound on that right now, the transformation that you're on with your journey right now.
Man, it's all God. I love my daddy. I love Abba Father, and I definitely want to put that. I want to put that out there because if it had not been for him, if it had not been for the Holy Trinity, Jesus, Holy Spirit, all of that, I would not be where I am. My journey, as far as my transformation, started 2 years ago, and God really impacted my life within a month. I mean, really just, like, we finna break all this fallow ground up, and we finna go to a whole nother level. And the Bible talks about how your latter will be greater than your former. Well, I'm living that. Because of my relationship with him, and because of me saying, you know what, I'm tired of doing the same thing, just going through the motions. I'm tired of just, the religious part of it. I'm like, I want a true relationship. I want to give you my all. And because of that, I've been on a journey. It's just going from faith to faith, glory to glory. And I'm excited because it's such a great thing. Starting Weight Consume Me 8 years ago was a blessing, and just the idea of it, and just continuing to keep going around it, being of, I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna do this and that. But now it's like it's a mission, because I look at so many people, I look at so many others who struggle, and a lot of people think it's about losing weight. But it's so much more than just weight. It's a mental thing. It's the weight that we carry in our minds. It's in our hearts. It's so much that we carry that it turns into other things. One thing about like weight, and like, I guess when you look at being overweight or like a food addiction, a food addiction is no different than alcoholism. It's no different than being, on drugs. It becomes something that you're looking for, something to soothe what you're dealing with. So it's an outlet, so it's my mission that I always wondered, God, why me? Why me? Why can't I be skinny like that guy? Why can't I be healthy like that person? But God has said, well, why not you? I'm using you for a purpose. So weight consuming means so much. I am weight consuming because this is my purpose in life. This is what I've been placed on this earth for. This is why God allowed me to get to this size. At my highest, I was 555 pounds. And when I looked down at the scale, I said, oh my God. And I almost teared up because I said, this ain't right. And I've looked at shows when people have been overweight and they laying in the bed and can't move and, they hospitalized and, all of this stuff. And I'm just like, man, God, that ain't me. I don't want that to be me. So it got to be, what is my purpose? So I've been on this mission to say, you know what? I want to be a voice. I want to be a voice to every person that feel like they can't lose the weight. I want to be a voice to every person that feel like, oh, I have to get surgery. No knock against surgery. If you got to get surgery, get surgery. But if you don't, get up and move. I want to be I want to be that advocate, that person that say, you know what? I'm going to speak life into you. I'm going to be on this journey with you. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm not just going to pump you up and just get you. I'm not looking for support. I'm looking to support you. I'm looking to be that push that, cause a lot of times we see the end result. We see the people that's already together. We see the people that's already lost the weight. And it's like, oh, okay, that's great. That's inspirational. But when you can walk side by side with a person, when you can actually see that, yeah, this is what they are. And then a month later, I'm like, oh, okay, they look a little different. And then 2 months later, oh, they really coming down. It's like, man, it becomes major. So I want to take every bit of this weight and I want to continue to move it and shape it. And I'm going to be, when it's all said and done, I'm going to be exactly the opposite of what you see. I'm going to be exactly the opposite of what the world has put in this box to say, oh, this is just who you are, because it's not me. And I want to encourage others that what you are on the outside is not who you are on the inside. But it has to start in your mind. It has to be a way of thinking. You have to think that I'm more than what I see in the mirror. The Bible says I'm more than a conqueror. So my focus and my plight is just like, man, I want to be that voice. I want to be that voice in the earth, because there's so many people that are struggling with this issue. There's so many people that are struggling with weight and just up and down, in and out, back and forth. It's like, no. Let's stop this right now. And it's one thing for those who are not in the church, but it's even more so for the people that's in the church. Be a voice of God. I'm not, correction. I'm being a voice of God. So I'm so excited about this journey. I'm so excited from where I'm going. It's like the lights are coming on inside my head. I'm just like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to eat this. It's like I used to struggle in my head as far as like, man, what I'm gonna eat. Oh, I gotta go get this. Oh, I gotta go get that. But now it's like, nope, I can't eat that. Nope, I'm not gonna do that, because I see where I'm going. And because of my focus and where I'm going, I'm like, man, none of that matters. I've had all the food that you could ever even want for the rest of your life. So it's like, I'm not missing anything. So it doesn't kill me to eat a salad. It doesn't kill me to drink water. All of that is going to benefit me. And as it benefits me, it's going to benefit you, because I'm going to show you my journey. I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to be with you. Weight consume me, but it's not going to consume you. And my famous quote, and I'm going to say it's famous because I made it famous. It say, don't let weight consume you, let it fuel you. So that very thing that has torn you down, that has, conflicted you and all that, turn that around and use it for fuel. And that way you'll be able to take off.
So what are you doing now? Because we recently shot a video in the gym.
Yeah.
And you posted it to your YouTube channel. Talk about that. Talk about how was that experience for you, and what are you doing in the gym, and also what are you doing? Because you also shot a video inside of your kitchen of you cooking. So just talk about that a little bit.
That's funny. My daughter say, I saw your video. It was pretty good. I'm just, showing everyone my journey. Going to the gym now, because of my work schedule, I try to get there on my days that I'm in town, because I'm driving trucks as of right now. But so I try to go to the gym when I'm when I'm in town. And I go in and get about an hour worth of working out, whether, and I do lifting. A lot of people that, you get a lot of different, people tell you to do a lot of different things. Well, if you want to lose weight, you got to do cardio, or if you got to, I do what works best for me. And, the main thing about when you go to the gym, go in and work. I learned that from my brother. Go in there and sweat. Don't just stand around, look at the equipment, talk to your friends, be on your phone. Get to the gym, and you need to be sweating. You need to be working out to the point of when you leave up out of there, you don't want to go back for another couple of days. So that's my goal and my mission. When I go to the gym, I go to work. I don't go to socialize. I don't go to do anything else but to go in there, get a good sweat on, burn some calories, and come up out of there. And because I believe that, going back to the Bible, the Bible says one man to plant, or one will plant, one will water, but God will get the increase. So it's already been planted in me about how to eat, how to, work out, all these different things. They're different. You can YouTube it, you can Google it. There's so many different ways of how to eat and how to work out. You take all that stuff in and you do the work. And once you do the work, you just sit back and expect the results. See where I'm going. And because of my focus and where I'm going, I'm like, man, none of that matters. I've had all the food that you could ever even want for the rest of your life. So it's like, I'm not missing anything. So it doesn't kill me to eat a salad. It doesn't kill me to drink water. All of that is going to benefit me. And as it benefits me, it's going to benefit you, because I'm going to show you my journey. I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to be with you. Weight consume me, but it's not going to consume you. And one my famous quote, and I'm going to say it's famous because I made it famous. It say, don't let weight consume you, let it fuel you. So that very thing that has torn you down, that has, conflicted you and all that, turn that around and use it for fuel. And that way you'll be able to take off.
So what are you doing now? Because we recently shot a video in the gym.
Yeah.
And you posted it to your YouTube channel. Talk about that. Talk about how was that experience for you, and what are you doing in the gym, and also what are you doing? Because you also shot a video inside of your kitchen of you cooking. So just talk about that a little bit.
That's funny. My daughter say, I saw your video. It was pretty good. I'm just, showing everyone my journey. Going to the gym now, because of my work schedule, I try to get there on my days that I'm in town, because I'm driving trucks as of right now. But so I try to go to the gym when I'm not when I'm in town, and I go in and get about an hour worth of working out. Whether and I do lifting. A lot of people that you get a lot of different. People tell you to do a lot of different things. Well, if you want to lose weight, you got to do cardio, or if you got to. I do what works best for me. And, the main thing about when you go to the gym, go in and work. I learned that from my brother. Go in there and sweat. Don't just stand around, look at the equipment, talk to your friends, be on your phone. Get to the gym, and you need to be sweating. You need to be working out to the point of when you leave up out of there, you don't want to go back for another couple of days. So that's my goal and my mission. When I go to the gym, I go to work. I don't go to socialize. I don't go to do anything else but to go in there, get a good sweat on, burn some calories, and come up out of there. And because I believe that, going back to the Bible, the Bible says one man to plant, or one will plant, one will water, but God will get the increase. So it's already been planted in me about how to eat, how to, work out, all these different things. They're different. You can YouTube it, you can Google it. There's so many different ways of how to eat and how to work out. You take all that stuff in and you do the work. And once you do the work, you just sit back and expect the results. So that's what I do. I go to the gym, I go in there, I sweat. I might get on the treadmill 15, 30 minutes, and then I'm hitting the weights. Cause like I said, I'm gonna be the exact opposite of what I am. So you might see this belly and all that. Trust me, next time you see me, it's gonna be rips. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 packs and all that, and you're gonna see the exact opposite. As far as me eating, just eating healthier, picking better choices. I'm actually, trying a little keto diet, which actually is working for me. So, but it might not work for you. Whatever works for you, that's what you do. But that's just what I'm doing. So I've been wanting to show that, hey, I am cooking. I'm making better choices. Because one thing I've learned, what diet you on or whatever meal plan or regimen that you're doing, is so much cheaper to cook your own food. Because going out to eat and buying fast food, that stuff get expensive. And if you sit back and really look at the receipts and realize how much you spending, you're gonna be like, oh my God. And see the thing, you can spend $15 getting some fast food and it'll taste good, it'll be great. But you won't have nothing to show for it but an upset stomach, and you can probably gain some weight. But I guarantee you take that same $15, go to the store. Not only will you be able to buy something healthier and cook it at home, but you're going to have extra because that $15 is going to be able to cover. When I was working out with my brother and it was wonderful. Even as I've been on this journey throughout the years, I've always had someone there to kind of push me in the back and, hi, you can do this, you can do that. And that's great. But what happens when everyone leaves? What happens when there's no one there? What happens? I think about how when someone in your life pass away, and when they first pass away, everybody calls. Everybody call. They check in. How you doing? What's going on? This and that, and that's great. You kind of need that. Oh man, I appreciate that. This and that. They show up. They come to the funeral. Da 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 da. But come Monday morning, the phone calls start slack off. They stop, and now you're left with. Not only have you lost someone that they're no longer in your life, but now you got to live this life without them. And I look at that and I use it as fuel for this journey, because posting things on Facebook, my mom asked me before she passed, well, one of the conversations she was like, why do you always put out there that, you trying to lose weight? She said, because people are going to be expecting you to do it. She said, why don't you just do it and be done with it? And I was like, yeah, Mom, I get it. But, and it made me, I had to think about that. I was like, well, I don't know. And I think before, when I did it because I was looking for that support. I was looking for someone to keep me, what's the word I'm looking for? Motivated. Yeah. And accountability. I was looking for accountability. So, so I put it out there like, yeah, this will help me stay motivated, because people going to chime in. And they going, oh, yeah, you got it. You're doing a good job. At some point, all of that fades away and you're left to self. There was a time I used to be afraid to be alone. And when I say afraid to be alone, I was afraid to be with my own self, because I was scared of what I was going to do when everyone was gone from around me. I was afraid that I was going to go eat, or I was afraid I was going to go do something that wasn't something I should have been doing. So I was afraid to be alone with my own self. And that's crazy to think about, but that's just how I was. Because I so wanted to be free. I so wanted to be I so wanted to do the right thing that. Because, for me, I was always at church. So long as I'm in church service, everything is popping and good. Oh, yeah, go hallelujah, da, da, da. But then I had to go home. I had to deal with those demons by myself. At least I felt like I was by myself. And so I didn't want to be alone. I had to try to be around people. I had to try to, So as I'm on this journey now, because of me being in my word, me reading, studying, praying, prayer. Let me start there. Prayer is the number one thing. that'll keep you, that should keep you right in line with everything that you should be doing in your life. And that's what has kept me, because when my brother's not around, when nobody else is pushing me, I have to get up and say, you know what? I got to go. I got to get to the gym. I got to eat right. I think I mentioned earlier how, I used to look at or be wanting to go eat this. And I'm like, no, because it's in my mind. It's a renewed mind. That's why I say it starts in the mind, because your mind have to be renewed. So everything that the old ways, how you used to think, how you used to act, that has to be renewed and transformed. And once that's transformed, then it makes it a little bit easier. So now I no longer have to fight those battles of being afraid to be alone with myself, because now I know who I am. And because I know who I am, I know where I'm going. See, I never knew who I was before. And I always struggled trying to find out who me was. And it took me 40 years to try to figure that out. But now that I know, I'm on a whole nother level. So now I can focus on the direction I'm going. Now it's not, now don't get me wrong, it's still, when you going to the gym, it could be rough. Like sometimes I'm arguing, man, no, I don't need to go today. I'll wait. No, you need to go and go. Yeah, but oh Lord, it's too much. I don't feel like sweating today. But I drive that direction anyways. And I pull up in the parking lot. And I'm like, well, I'm here. So I go in here. Then I go in there. Then I'm like, well, I could just be like the other people and just, just talk. And then I'm like, because see, I got that dog in me. And it's like, my grandfather always taught me, if you ain't going to do it right, then don't do it at all. So that's in me. So I can't just go to the gym and just not work. I can't just, eat healthy and just, I'm going to just, nah. So when all that's failed, when the lights are off, when nobody's around, nobody's looking, you have to be accountable to yourself. See, we look for accountability from other people. When you going to start being accountable to yourself? And once you start being accountable to you, then, hey, you're not going to cheat on you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to cheat on you. You're going to make sure that you have your best interests at hand. And that's exactly what I'm doing, because whether my wife support me, whether my family support me, it don't even matter, because I'm not even looking for their support. I support me. And because I support me, that means I'm going to live. That means I'm going to flourish. That means I'm going to be everything that God has placed me in this earth to be. And that's what same thing I'll say to you. I say it for myself. You have to be an encourager of yourself. You have to want more for you. It's not to neglect anybody. It's not to push anybody out the way. But it's to say, I want to be free. I want to be strong. I want to be positive. And as you do that, even if your relationships with other people are rocky or whatever, once you line up with you, everything else will line up with everything else.
So man, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. The journey. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your journey. And before we get out of here, how can the people reach you? Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and also after you give your information out, just share what would you like to tell the people? How would you like to encourage the people, and let them know that you're with them on their journey also.
All right. Well, basically, you want to reach me, you can look me up on YouTube at Way Consume Me. My Facebook page is Way Consume Me. Instagram is Way Consume Me. Wherever Way Consume Me, I'm there. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Way Consume Me. And also, you can reach me on my website, which is www.wayconsumeme.com. And just a word of encouragement. Number one, I pray that you all have gotten something out of this, and I pray that I can be a blessing to your life. I am truly here to hear your concerns, hear what you have to say. I'm here to push you in your back. If you ever needed encouragement, if you ever needed someone to follow and say, how can I get to the level that I want to get to? And it may not be pounds that you have to lose. It may not be, nothing to that, this extreme, but whatever it is, I'm here. I love to talk. I love to listen. So I'm here to really just be there for you, be in your corner. A lot of times we don't have people in our corner. Family don't always support you. So you might need support from the outside. So I want to be that outside person that can come into your space and say, what can I do to help you? What can I do to push you? Because if I can do this, you can do anything. Because trust me, this right here is a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to carry. It's a lot to push through. But if I can overcome it, you can overcome anything. So my prayer is that you would just ride with me. Let's go on this journey together. Consume me. And it's going to always be there. But it's not going to destroy who I am. It's not going to destroy you. So be blessed and love y'all. Appreciate it.